cryptos that start going into a downtrend. But we'll start, of course, with Bitcoin here. Some of you guys might be familiar with this chart. It's something that I covered not long ago here. This is Bitcoin on the monthly, and you can see that there's two very clear trend lines that Bitcoin has kind of been holding here. You could say that this bottom trend line here was kind of like the support trend line, and the top one was kind of like the resistance. Bitcoin broke above this resistance trend line in November, and as we learned in the just kind of basic, support and resistance video from yesterday, you'll recall that once we see a break above resistance, we tend to see a retest of that level, like confirmation that it's become a zone of support, and prices keep moving higher. So in this case, this is basically exactly what we're seeing here for Bitcoin when it comes to these trend lines. Again, slightly different to support and resistance. And what's really interesting, of course, with these trend lines is that when you're drawing just like basic support and resistance, sometimes you might get a sense of like, I drew the line, I think it's somewhere here, but it's not giving me a very clear picture. And this is where trend lines can really come in handy. They're kind of like, I don't want to say like a hidden support and resistance, but they really do help in kind of putting price action into context when it doesn't make sense when you're just using the basic support and resistance. So you could kind of think as trend lines as being kind of like a slightly more advanced like support and resistance that gives you a little bit of a better vantage point of what's going on in the market.